Most people think lying is a moral failure. But what if the real problem is that our environment trains us to lie? I'm talking about honesty, especially in the context of polyamory, and how many of us don't consciously choose dishonesty. Instead, we're operating in systems that reward hiding the truth. I see this over and over again. In the last 3 years alone, I've gone through a major breakup, a death, a family schism, a new home, a new relationship, and a completely big shift in my business. Almost every one of those changes came down to one core question. What truth am I willing or able to face? And so we're going to talk about that today. Research backs this up. Psychologist Bella Del Palo found that most people lie 1 to 2 times a day, and most lies aren't malicious. They're about avoiding discomfort, protecting relationships, or managing social expectations. Another study from the University of Massachusetts found that 60% of people lie at least once in a 10-minute conversation when trying to present themselves positively. So lying isn't rare, it's structural. Our nervous systems and our social environments are constantly asking, will honesty cost me connection? And if the answer might be yes, our brains often choose self-protection over truth. Sometimes we don't boast, we omit information about ourselves to gain future credibility. Maybe we don't say how hard starting a business, changing the way we're doing things is, because that's revealing more than we need to. Understanding how honesty needs to be in the moment, how much information someone is going to get from you. We'll get into that in another video, but today we're going to talk about how I think polyamory is fascinating, because people often say polyamory is about radical honesty, but polyamory doesn't magically make you honest. Sometimes that makes it more hard and confronting, because suddenly you're expected to talk about things that we're not taught how to and haven't practiced and probably don't even know is there to be talked about. Jealousy, boundaries, insecurities that come up, limits. And if your nervous system isn't prepared for that level of truth, you may not lie intentionally, but you might avoid, deflect, delay, or tell partial truths. And society actually reinforces this. We grow up hearing things like cheating happens, white lies protect people, don't rock the boat, don't hurt their feelings. Dishonesty is often seen as socially intelligent. And I've heard it many times where it's like a study with kids, and if they lie more, their IQ's higher. I don't know how realistic that is, but it's also teaching us something that maybe isn't really helping us. Coercion doesn't always look like someone forcing you into a situation. Sometimes coercion looks like not being able to tell yourself the truth first. And maybe you don't want to risk hearing a no, so the way you phrase something might sound like there is no choice. Maybe you don't trust yourself to survive a rejection or a complete no or negotiate. You've learned that conflict equals danger. So instead of lying to others, you start lying to yourself first. You tell yourself this isn't a big deal. Oh, I can do this. I'm fine with this. I can manage. I'll put my head down. I'll deal with it later. But your body knows, your nervous system knows. And when the nervous system is overwhelmed, it's hard to tell the difference between what is uncomfortable and what is truly unsafe. And there's this middle ground, discernment of like how much information is okay to give in the moment. That's your own boundaries and limits, right? When your nervous system is taxed, honesty can feel dangerous. But often what we're facing isn't danger, it's discomfort. And discomfort requires capacity to stay calm in that feeling, the capacity to communicate clearly, the capacity to hold compassion for ourselves and others. Most of us were never taught those skills. So instead, we default to our attachment patterns. So a dismissive avoidant might say nothing and disappear. An anxious style might over-explain for hours without ever stating a boundary or ding on a boundary. A fearful avoidant might swing wildly between the two. And none of these patterns are about being bad people. They're about trying to stay safe in relationships. The real first step toward honesty isn't telling the truth to others. It's telling the truth to yourself. Sounds so simple, yeah. And even that can be terrifying, truly, because I think we hide so much because many of us are holding on for dear life to a sense of safety. And that's just our subconscious. It's just how our body and how we've been trained to work. So acknowledging that we might not be fully honest, even internally, can feel destabilizing. If most of us could acknowledge how universal it is, we would see less shame, less blame, and a lot more compassion. Honestly, I think that kind of awareness could end wars. So here's the real question I want to leave with you. Where is the line for you between self-protection and truth? Self-protection isn't bad. Like I said, there's discernment of where your boundaries and limits are on how much information is given away. And I say given away or given out to someone. And be compassionate with your capacity in the moment and be able to be honest about that to yourself first. And whether or not that person or people or organization is within the limits of what you've discerned is okay within consent to offer that information is important. But there's also this place in ourselves where we can't tell the difference between unsafe and uncomfortable, meaning it's just new. It's unknown. We really want it, but we're not able to really go there because we're so scared of here. Are you avoiding something because it's unsafe? So the first question was, where is the line for you between self-protection and truth? Are you avoiding something because it's unsafe or because it's uncomfortable? If you could just imagine one thing that you're really having a hard time making a decision, can you decipher? Is it because it's really unsafe? Are there some real concerns? Those concerns you could slowly take through discernment into an uncomfortable situation, meaning if I find solutions to the unsafeness that I'm feeling right now in this situation, then I might move over to uncomfortable. If I think that moving across country feels really unsafe, but I really want it, feels uncomfortable too. The unsafeness might be, I might not have a job there. I might not have any income. There's choices that feel unsafe. There are things that you can do to get uncomfortable because it's unknown. Are you chasing excitement because calm feelings feels unfamiliar? Sometimes we create distractions in order to deal with the truth of the matter. If I distract myself dealing with my own insecurities by sometimes reaching out externally instead of propping myself up so that I can start making baby steps through the uncomfortability and giving myself that time to sit with moving through something that's really scary, but not unsafe. Or are you actually following your deeper truth? And what does that actually feel like? Because deeper truth doesn't always mean that you're so excited. Sometimes it's like you're having to move through a lot of fear. And those are not easy questions to answer, right? But they are life-changing when you allow yourself to start to address them. And this is why I created the Confidence Toolkit for coming out and the people who people please and eventually don't really say what's going on for them, step into the life that they need and want in order to be their best authentic self. Because honesty doesn't start with willpower. It starts with learning how to understand yourself first. And so the Confidence Toolkit goes over how to work with your emotions, your needs, your limits, your boundaries, your nervous system. And once you can be honest with yourself, being honest with others becomes a lot less terrifying. The hard leaps that feel impossible today start to become authentic non-negotiables later. It's like not a choice anymore because the good outweighs the bad. And you realize that you almost can't not have the skills to make that move. Drop a comment below, send me a DM, or reply to the email this video comes from. And if you're on YouTube, please just comment below. Or join, go to raylifecoaching.com/resources and scroll down. You'll see a place where you can enter your information to get the free Confidence Toolkit or be a part of the newsletter. Scroll all the way down to get to the newsletter. I'd love to hear from you. Where have you struggled with honesty in your life or relationships? And what helped you move closer to the truth for yourself? Thank you for joining me. Have a great day.